Outer Orange.
Yeah, welcome to another What to Buy. We are here in set 13, right around the corner. One of the scariest sets that some people claim it to be. I will say, I'm gonna be real with you right now. I am not a Dragon Empire expert. I just need to make that very clear. So whatever Dragon Empire stuff I have knowledge on is gonna be pretty minor. I'm just gonna kind of brush through it in comparison to some of the other ones. But let's go ahead and kind of get started with Dragon Empire. I do want to make some big notations here. There are some generics that every single nation got this time around. It's like a grade 3, another grade 3, I believe, a 2 and a 1, if I remember correctly. There's a lot of weird Dragon Tree support that is the exact same throughout all of them. Then there's some generic support that's the exact same for all of them. We're gonna start with this guy right here. Every single nation got one of these, and Lyrical is getting one too in the future. And basically it's a grade 4 substitute, but also can be used strangely enough in like premium as well. But basically it says when this unit is placed on rearguard circle or guard circle, choose up to one grade 4 from your hand, reveal it. If you reveal a card, or if your rearguard is grade 4, you can perform one of the following below. You can choose one of your opponent's rearguards, retire it, and it gets 5k. And then the other option on guard circle, you can also get 50k shield. And then there's the last one, which all of them have too. It says when this card is discarded from hand while riding a grade 3 from ride deck or paying the cost for stride, you can draw a card. So basically you can use these in premium as well. So if you're out there trying to have extra cards that do multiple things aside from being, you know, like just random grade 3s, these are options. There's also, of course, the Elwifs. So we're continuing more with the Elwifs. The Dragon Empire one got one this before set 13. Brandgate and Stakei are the ones that had them, but I think now all the rest are getting them, including Keter. I do recommend picking these up. I don't know if there's too much mask stuff with specifically this nation, so I will say it's not priority as much as it's priority, or it's been priority Stakei and Brandgate. But in case there's a future where it might happen, clearly there might be a future for it. You might as well just grab them while you can. So just a thought there. Now, before I get into all the other stuff, I do want to again go over more of these weird generics. Here's another one of them. Every nation got this one too. This one says when this unit is placed on rearguard circle, you can cowboys put a grade 3 that is in the ride deck from soul or drop into the ride deck. That was in the ride deck. So drop and draw cards. So again, every single nation got one of these, and then there's more. There's quite a few of these. There's also this one. This one's also another one. And again, like if you think you want to pick them up, you can. They are generic, and like I said, every nation has one of these. It's just kind of up to you. This one's also interesting. This one's better in some nations, worse than others. This one says it can't be written on or called, cannot be normal called to rearguard circle without any Dragon Tree marker. So this is no more Dragon Tree marker support. So this is during a turn, this gets 2k power for each Dragon Tree marker on your rearguard, so it gets very big. And it says when it attacks, this unit gets 2k power at the end of the battle for each of your opponent's open rearguard circle. So this effect will change from all of them, but these first two effects, if I remember correctly, do not change at all. Also, another one, so this is another one that every nation is getting. These are the order cards. This one says if your damage zone has 3 or more cards, the first effect will be different. The second effect will be basically to play it. The first effect will be different, but the effect itself will be exactly the same. This effect is the exact same for all nations. So have fun. Pick your favorite one. So choose a unit being attacked. It gets 15k power, and if your opponent rode of your opponent's vanguard is placed by a card's ability, this gets 30k power instead of 15k power. So again, just really big shield things, and then again, it's really good. It's the decks that are like rewriting or doing whatever. There's more of these generics. There's a lot. I actually like that there's a lot, but there is quite a few. This is another one that every single nation got as well. It says when it attacks a vanguard, cowboy, choose one of your opponent's vanguards, choose one of your opponent's rearguards, and for every 2 cards of that unit, retire all of those chosen rearguards. All the nations got one of these too, but the effects are just slightly different. Again, more generics, more weird stuff. And then this is another one. This is the Garovia, whatever thing, Mabobber. Again, just more support for the Dragon Tree stuff, more of the main deck stuff, and I'll give you guys some deck lists here. Gee, I was gonna say this card's actually really cool. All of your rearguards placed by your vanguard's ability by this turn get plus 5k. So it's not once per turn either. That's really cool. But of course, if you're picking up the new X overdress stuff with the Trickstar stuff, I'm gonna be real with y'all. I'm not too familiar with any of this stuff. I haven't been testing it. I haven't been looking at it, but I am gonna throw you guys some deck lists here because it is pretty popular. There's the Java build, which is something like this. So just give you guys an idea of what these look like. It looks very confusing to me to look at, but it is running all the new stuff. I'm going to throw you guys a couple more of the Java stuff, so because it has been performing, there has been, you know, lists on it. Here's another variation. Like I said, you guys can pause the video and just see what you like. I can't give you information on stuff I don't know, so I'm not gonna do that. Here is also Gandiva, in case you have any interest in Gandiva still with the changes. I will say the deck hasn't changed too much. I don't think any of the new stuff is being played here. I think that's basically the main stuff. Dragon Empire, I don't think too much has changed. It's mainly just all these new cards that give access to, that does the prayer dragon stuff. I don't even think Nirvana got a card, and if it did, then There might be like one or two, but to be honest with you, this is a very heavy X overdressed whatever set. Oh, here's a Nirvana card. So if you want to play some Nirvana, here you go. I don't recall there being any tops or anything on Nirvana, but you can do this. And worst case scenario, you could go and play Dragonic Overlord and kind of go down that route. But I wanted to mainly focus on the generics as they are very generic. They can be played in any deck and they're in every single nation. So let's go over to Dark States as I have a little bit more to say about Dark States. We obviously got the Drajult. So the new Drajult came out, so you can now play this guy as well. It's the grade 4 variation. It's very, very potent. I'm going to throw you guys a couple lists here. This one here is running the grade 3. This is the grade 3 that I've been talking about that every single nation got. And then we have the new grade 2 in here, the new grade 1 in here. I will talk about these in just a second. Just want to show you guys a list. So here is the Draco kid that we just saw. So you could pick up those. To pick up this guy is also just a big focus for Drajult and the engine of what Drajult does. And then we have the new grade 1. This also is a very impactful card that people are running in their lists. So that's a card to keep track of. And let me see if there's any cards that are like a little bit more unusual. Obviously the Mask, the Forbidal is a popular choice. You need the Restander, so keep in mind this is an older card. So just the one more card. I'll have it up in front of me right here, just so you guys can see. We have a remembrance of what it looks like. And then obviously we're running this new. Since keep in mind Drajult is a grade 4, so this card actually activates, which is actually really cool. This is definitely a deck that abuses this straight off the bat. So again, very similar first effect. You reveal the grade 4, or if your Vanguard's a grade 4 on Rearguard Circle, you can combo draw a card, choose 2 cards from your drop with them into your soul, or you can also get the 50k shield. And again, if you were to stride with this card, you can also draw a card. So if you use it for stride or for the cost of riding a grade 3 from ride deck. So there you go. So there's another one of those abusers. Obviously, again, I'm gonna just kind of briefly go over them. Nothing too crazy. Again, very similar. There's these generics that coming out. This one says this one gets 2k power for every card in your soul. For every 3 cards in your soul. That's insane. This is that's insane. That's actually that's a lot of power. I wish Rayo Magnus can abuse this, because holy hell, this is a 15k, by the way. Like, that is 2k power. Imagine how big this gets. That's huge. But anyway, but yeah, there's that one. Here's again the order one. I'm not going to go over the effect again. It's very similar. The only difference is this one you have to have 5 soul to play it, but the effect is the exact same. These weird cards, we've been getting a lot of these weird cards for Dark States. Basically, it's this Crafty Lord. You can combo search your deck for the Feral and add it to hand. The Feral is this grade 3 looking dude right here, and this guy says during a main phase you can whip out the you can take the Crafty Lord out onto your board. So again, just really weird. And this one gets bomb decks itself. So just always like weird side cards. And then again, we have more of this weird the double grade effects. Like again, these weird generics, they really don't do much. But if you're really trying to, if Dragon Tree or like the Garofia, whatever dude ever becomes meta, all these cards instantly get good. The Unica support, there's a little bit of Unica support. So if you really want to play Unica, here's some small support for that. You can draw a card, and then she also gets 5k for every 2 criticals in your binds, which is pretty good. You know, eventually after you get like 3 in bind, you don't really do much with them. This girl at least gets power. It kind of just keeps going, so you can use her. And then this one also works with Unica. It says during turn if your bind zone has 3 or more triggers, it gets 10k shield, so you can also throw her into Unica. I would say it's not very impactful, but it also searches for masks. This other effect that says on place on Rearguard Circle, if you're Vanguard with mask, if you have a Vanguard with mask in his name, you can counter +1 top 5, which is a grade 3 OS unit card with a different card name from this unit from them called Rearguard Circle. Choose a trigger unit from your drop and you may bind it. So this is also just a really good way to first stick for pieces and to get your power going, and then also bind a trigger. So it does a lot in one. It's not the greatest card in the world, but again, if you're trying to build Unica, I think these are really good additions to that. But there's this new Greedon card. To me, it sounds really weak, but I could be wrong. Basically, it says when your Vanguard with Greedon's card name attacks, if it's second battle this turn and you do not have a Rearguard Circle of the same card name as this card, you may call this card to Rearguard Circle from Soul, by the way. If you call a card until the end of turn, this unit cannot be put into Soul by your Vanguard's ability, gets +5k. So it's a little weird. It kind of comes out, but I guess you can try to go for that cheese play with the 3 Vanguard swings, but I think it's a little hard to accomplish, especially since once this comes out, you can't activate it, and if it's already on the board, you can't actually use the effect. So it's kind of a little restricted. We also got this new Time Dragon. This is a brand new card, a brand new Vanguard. I'm not gonna lie, I don't have any lists for this guy. There's a couple in my Discord if you're really interested. Some people have been clicking a little bit here and there, but this is a very open deck. There's really just I feel like a lot of people just have not been testing this, like, and I mean mainly because people are just so focused on their decks. But I feel like if you want some sauce, you can pick these up. Just a little recap: you got the Drajult stuff. This should be priority number 1. I feel if you're gonna pick up cards from this nation, you should definitely be picking this up. Talked about the earlier generics that if you pick up if you really feel like you need them. The order isn't too bad. So if you feel there's something that fits your deck, go for it. Yeah, they're not mandatory. I think definitely priority should be the main deck. If you're playing Drajult, you want to pick up the Drajult cards, and then for side support, you definitely should be picking up the grade 3. And if you want to play Unica, you can pick up this and this, and then that's basically it from there. There isn't too much. That's it for Dark States. Let's go over to Brandgate. So we did get, of course, the grade 3 again. If you're playing Messiah, really great card. If you're playing Prison, really great card. Just a card to consider, even for future. Or if you want to play in a premium, again, you can consider these cards. I think in this one, it's not as priority because you don't need to run it in like some of the main decks. But if you want to, go for it. I feel like this is not too bad. I think this Soul Charge is actually pretty nice, but it's a little risky. But it does get 10k power, so that's also really nice. And then we have the new Avantgarde card. I haven't tested with this yet, but this is basically just a way to rewrite with Avantgarde. So it's just another thing you can use. He also gets the old effects. So if you're playing Avantgarde, you should definitely be picking this up, as this is like one of the main new things for Avantgarde. But there's actually other cards too that Avantgarde got. There's this card, which is pretty okay. So you can basically pitch Avantgardes and bring back to hand. And now you don't have to run weird cards that directly search for, or if you're worried about persona writing, you can worry about it a little bit less. And also this gets 5k power if you have a strategy in soul. So just another just a 13k beater as well. So this isn't too bad. There's also some Velstra support. So if you Velstra, this is the girl that everyone's super excited about. So here she is. So if you need Velstra cards, there's that. There's also the B hero support. This is the direct B hero cards. Supposedly she's really good. So if you're playing B hero, there you go. This card's kind of interesting. It says counterbalance for every 5 grades of the sum of the grades of set orders in your order zone. Choose one of your opponent's graveyards to retire. It gets plus 5k. This is that weird bat support, the weird side support. It also works because it just retires. It's a very interesting card. I've actually thought about it. There is a little bit of this Archetype support right here. This is kind of a weird card, but it is a monster card, so you can run an Archetype. Maybe I 2 copies or something like that, but you can care about Soul Blast, choose a set order from your drop or face up damage zone cards and put it into your hand. If you put it into your drop zone, put the top card of your deck into your damage zone. You can add set orders basically back to hand, or find ways to get them back to hand, which is really good to recycle them. A little weird in Archetype because Archetype set orders tend to stay. So unless you're like pitching extra copies, you don't really need this card too badly, but it is something to think about it because it has monster in its card name, so I thought I'd throw it in there. Here is again that same effect. If you have a set order, you get the extra power here. Just this one's probably the easiest to accomplish. Most of them are, but that one's like really easy to accomplish. Again, here's that weird dragon tree card. This one says for each, you get 2k for each order in the order zone. So again, one of those. And then we have this. So this is another one here. There's a bunch of these too. This discard a card, draw a card. I think every nation got one of these two. I want to give you guys some Avantgarde lists that have been winning. Here's one. I don't know if they're a little sideways here. I don't even know if they're running the rewrite guy. It doesn't look like they're running the rewrite guy unless I'm completely blind. They're running the blue guy here, and some are running those cats. Remember those cats I talked about a while back? Yeah, you should definitely be picking those up. They're getting kind of expensive. If you haven't picked up your cats, go pick up your cats. Here is a list that is running the new grade 3 and the new grade 1. So there's another list for you to look at for Avantgarde. And again, if you don't have the cats, pick up the cats. And then we also have this promo. It did come out for us last set, so you can also pick this up. I think this is a pretty good list, actually, a good way to look at it. They basically took out some of the stuff that was forcing you to find the Avantgarde, because this card just kind of replenishes all that work for you personally. And we see if there are any other crazy lists out there. Here's a Velstra list. It should be running the new girl. I don't know if it is, or they said nah, we'll just have it at 1 copy. But there she is, just 1 little copy of her. So there's the Velstra. And then here's also the B heroes running the new grade 2. So here's just another list for you guys to look at, just to how to get the B hero stuff going. So if you really need a sample list to look at, there's actually quite a few of them on Deck Standard. I've been using Deck Standard for all these, but here's another one from Deck Standard as well. Again, another B hero list. So if you're really interested in B heroes, here you go. Bro, there's also this card. This is actually a pretty impactful card. I do recommend picking this up. This should be a staple pickup. I actually think it not being chosen makes it a lot easier for you to deal with weird matchups. Keep in mind, into prison stuff like that, you can have this on the board, be your only card on the board, and you can kind of play roster stuff. I think this is very important. I think this also makes Ava more interesting. You can also play this in Ava. And then it says also what's really interesting is the second part right here. When any player's unit is placed on your circle from your order zone during any player's main phase, you can Soul Blast and draw a card. So this is like a prison card as well. Overall, just a really awesome card. I do recommend this card. I think priority in this particular one, if you're really going for like just generics, is definitely the grade 1 and probably the grade 3. And then I think if you just really want some of that weird dragon tree side support or some of the orders, you can go after those. If you're aiming for main cards, if you Avantgarde is definitely a pick. The B hero stuff's a pick. The Ballista stuff's a pick. I think after that, it's just up to you if you really need some of these weird side cards. Go over to Keter. Keter got quite a bit of like the most like bossy cards, I would say. Pick it up. This one gives you boost and also the 50k shield, and then the Stride deck. And obviously, if you're playing Luard, this is also an option. I'm not saying it's a good option. I think Luard probably doesn't play this just because they want grade 1s in their deck, but you can use it for strike cost if you want to. We do get the new Alden, and Alden is a very weird deck, I would say. I don't think a single person it cares about this deck except for maybe me. I know for a fact that there isn't a single top there's like nothing. Like I don't think there's a top. I don't think there's any side tops. I don't think there's any locals tops. This deck has literally 0. I'm actually gonna try and crack the code on this deck and see if I can find anything cool. So I'm gonna try and build this deck and see if I can make it work. Basically, it works the opposite of Bastion. You want to have as many different grades to do stuff. It also draws a bunch of cards, bounces cards, and recalls cards. So it's really cool. It's kind of like a mini Bermuda deck, and I really like that about it. So I'm gonna be messing around with it, but maybe it's just really bad. I don't know. But if you want the Alden specific stuff, this is the grade 3 you want, this is the grade 2 you want, this is the grade 1 you want. After that, if you want some ways to soul charge, you can also go to this guy. You also need the red deck, which is right here and right here. I don't think you need the 0 if I remember correctly. I don't think it matters what you ride on, but you do need the 1 and the 2. And then obviously you do need Aldens, like the other Aldens, if you really just want to prioritize drawing a ton of cards. It's a little risky with how much Chaos and Soul Blast is required, but that's another route. Obviously, the big bad boy of the set is Youthberg. Here's the Youthberg. So if you want Youthberg, you need this. If you're gonna play Youthberg, you definitely 100% need like all the Youthberg cards, at least that 1 copy. Here's a sample list. Most are running some of these at 1, max 2. I think this is the Tempest is the one you definitely wanted to, and obviously you need the OG not Luard. You need the OG Youthberg as well. You want the Angel, and then you want the grade 2 definitely maxed out. I know some people have some. I've been hearing some people are getting kind of spicy about this deck, and they're trying other things. The cat also works really well in this deck. I'm gonna be real. This is the list that I tested. Basically something like this. I've had the cat in, I've had the cat out, but your flex slot really just comes down to these 2 cards right here. If you're playing it this way, if you're playing it with the 1 and the 2 and all this other stuff. But you can also, you know, high roll a bit more. You can bump this down to 1. I don't recommend it, but you can do it. But yeah, that's basically the route you can go. And yeah, this deck is pretty solved in terms of like the normal version of it. Like, this is like basically normal version. Your flex slot's right here. So if you want to make this greedy, go for it. If you want to make this something else, go for it. That's basically just like the touch slot of what you want to do. So I basically broke down like what you need for Youthberg. It's basically the Youthberg itself. This there's another Alden, guys. There's another card that you can run in your Alden deck. So another little attachment there. Otherwise, we did get the Elith Copycat again. This is the one that gets the Dragon marker, searches for the Mask of Hydration, and adds it to hand. Again, this is not as impactful as in Starkea and Brandgate, obviously, but if you really want to, you know, fetch it now, go for it. I would recommend grabbing it now versus later. If you think there are going to be mask decks coming out for this, then I highly recommend picking these up now while they're cheap, because these get really expensive really fast because they're usually really good cards, as it directly gets the exact card you need for your engine. Everything else after this is just, again, more of these order cards if you really need these. We got the grade 3 that works with Dragon Tree markers if you need those, and then we have, that's basically it. We have a little bit of baby support for this whole, if your opponent's grade number goes up, then your power number goes up, all that weird stuff. The Owl, this should be a staple if you're playing Bastion, because this is a direct Bastion support card. Obviously everyone's talking about it, so if you're playing Bastion, you should 100% be picking this up. This card's insane. Also, there is the reprint. People weren't too happy about this, but this card is also pretty good at Bastion as well. So if you feel like you haven't picked it up yet, you need it again, here you go. Also, I haven't been mentioning this, I completely forgot, but the manga rares, I'm gonna bring this up now. The manga rares have been coming out. They're the Cycler replacements, so you can also pick up the manga rares. This is the one for Keter. This is the Brandgate one. It looks like, so this is another one of those Cycler. This is the Habitable Zone cards. For Dark States, it's actually very important. I will mention the Dark States one real quick. The Dark States one counts as 2 names. If you really want to go crazy with the Chaos deck, you can actually run, you can run one of these, but keep in mind you have to have specifically this one. A little expensive, but yeah, this one is also replaces Cycler card. So if you're playing Chaos with a Cycler card in mind, you can do that. And also Dragon Empire got one too. It's all the way down here. So this is the Dragon Empire one, again, also the Cycler card. So Starkea got quite a bit of stuff because this one's with the Mushi King stuff. So first, of course, we got the grade 3. So this one's pretty interesting. You can, I like the effect on this one. It says choose a grade 2 or greater with a different card name from your drop and put it to hand. So you can add personas with this one. So I think this one's a really strong contender for cards you should be picking up. I'm gonna be 100% grabbing this. I think this is basically a staple to grab. This is also another staple to grab, especially if you're playing Zorga. This card's pretty insane. It's a selective mill, and also it gets power. It's an ATK beater. If you're playing Zorga, you should definitely be grabbing that. That's like a guaranteed staple. There's of course the Leonard stuff. This is all just the Leonard Unison dress stuff. I'm not gonna lie, out of everything, I know Leonard the least. So I'll probably just throw you guys some Leonard lists and just call it a day. I know people are trying out so many different things with Leonard. I honestly don't even know what the best build of this deck is, but I'm sure y'all probably know more than me at this point. There's a bunch of deluxe cups as well with deck logs and stuff like that of everyone trying out different things. Here's another variation, but yes. But anyway, Luxor should pick up those. This card's pretty okay if you want the extra beater, but I would avoid it. This card is actually good. It says discard the top card of your deck, choose a card with a grade less than or equal to your Vanguard from drop and call it to Rearguard Circle, and if it's a unicard, or put into your hand if it's a normal order not named himself. So this card's actually kind of cool. I think this is a really cool alchemagic card for Zorga as well, so you can definitely test around with this. You can also play this in decks like Flagberg, surprisingly enough, because you get to call a card from drop And then if not, you can also add orders back to hand. So I just think this is really cool. You can also run this in Claudine as well. It does work in Claudine since she's order focused. So yeah, there's definitely some approaches to this card. I was very surprised by this card. At first I thought this was something else, and I was like, wait, this card's actually kind of cool. Here is again, that's 15k, 30k order cards. So there's that, and then we have a little bit of these like kind of okay cards. This one's not too bad. This one's again one of those like ride deck card checkers. So choose a great 3 OS from dropping club to rear. You have to still bust a starter card for it, but it's not terrible. It's again another way to just have revival. This card's pretty interesting. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but it's definitely a card I wish we had a little bit sooner. This card counts as both an order and a card. It says when an order card would be discarded from hand by your card's ability, this card can be discarded for an order. So you can discard it for an order. And then it says if you alchemy magic this turn, it gets 10k power. So it's 18k beater. There's just Poof Shade. So another. I wish I had more access to this a little bit sooner. It's a little bit late now that I think the decks are too soft for that card like that. Again, here's the Dragon Tree marker, power up dude. Another Zorga support. This one's weird because it's a counterblast, but you could make this work. But yeah, if you boost Zorga, you can Chakrabarthi choose no order for your body, so put it to your hand. So in case you really think you're gonna brick or something, or you really want to reuse certain orders, this is another way to utilize on that. I think it's all right. It is a counterblast, but hey, if you play, depending on how you play, sometimes you just don't care about counterblasts at all, and just being able to grab orders from your bind and reset them up again is actually really cool. This one's also pretty okay. And so basically a trigger goes back to your hand. Also very interesting kind of tanky builds if you want to go like a tanky Zorga build or a tanky Claudine build. Now, Musha King's out. I'm gonna be real with y'all. I have no clue how to build Musha King right now. I'm actually buying all the cards and I'm gonna figure out what I want to do. I know the triple drive order is very important. So if you it's not really a triple drive, it's more like adding drives. But of course you wanna also be able to triple drive. So just something to keep in mind, this order is very important. The mushrooms are very important. Dianthra or any form of drop zone bringing back is pretty important. And after that, I'm gonna be real, I don't know what's going on. So I'm giving you guys the cards to look at to kind of start off with to see, but I'm gonna be real, I don't know what's going on. We'll just have to kind of play it by ear. I'm definitely gonna be testing this and seeing how it performs and really try to figure out how to play it. But there's way too much random stuff to exactly know how to play this. I'm just giving you some lists to work with so you have an idea. I know why we run this. Everything else I'm kind of like, I have no idea, but this will definitely be a really fun deck I think to test and see. It's pretty solid from what I've noticed. A lot of people run this build pretty similarly. It is still performing. It still has like a couple it's been doing pretty well actually. Leonorn, the little Leonorn PR here, if you need to pick this up, you can also pick that up as well. And that's basically it for all our what to buys. I think just again to highlight, if you definitely should picking up the grade 3 generic for this set 100% for any of the nations, but it's okay as well. The grade 1 is insane for Zorga. This card's actually really nuts. You definitely should be picking up that. Some side support, you can pick up this, you can pick up this weird beetle here for Zorga, and then you can also pick up this to kind of help revive some cards. And then we have the random blitz. And then again, I also talked about this normal order here, which I also think is actually pretty good. So if you want to pick that up for Zorga, just mess around with any deck, or if you want to go the tanky build, you can get the tomato guy here and mess around with him along with the blitz orders. You can kind of see what fits your thing with either Claudine or Zorga, depending on what kind of take you're looking for. Lyrical did get like one promo, I think, but it's nothing crazy. It's just the this did need a reprint. Michu, this is the Michu card. She just got a reprint, so that's basically it for this. I will say this card was like randomly expensive for no reason, so this should make the Michu deck a lot cheaper. I wanted to go through like a sample Michu list. There's quite a few ways to build this, but there's this new promo right here that we do have access to. By the way, we have this promo that you can run instead. And actually, I've made videos about Michu as well. Yeah, most people run this card, so here's just another list you can test out. There's that. So there's that. Yeah, that's everything. So good luck. Hello. This is OuterOrange here, who completely forgot about the actual Giraphalakia, whatever the heck they're called, cards that came out, which also makes sense why there was a bunch of support around them. But if you are interested in any of these Dragon Tree cards, don't forget that you should probably be picking up the main dude. This is the Vartex, the grade 11 order as well. So something to keep in mind. I am going to mention it really quickly here, but you can actually run these in premium for Astro Poet stuff. So if you really want to increase your drive checks even further, there is this variation of that you can do that. Just want to point these out because I completely forgot about these, which makes sense why we got a lot of Dragon Tree support, and I just completely let that go like past me until I saw a post with these in it, and I was like, oh. So yeah, just something to keep in mind. You can add these to kind of, if you really just want to go the Dragon Tree route and want to build some Dragon Tree decks, now's the time to do it. There's a bunch of these, and then obviously we got the support cards as well to work with them, so you can just have a party with these. That's basically it. I hope you guys enjoyed that. It was a lot. I try to cover a lot in a tight space. What are you building this set? What are you excited for set 13? What are you interested in? What are you going to be going for? Let me know below. I'm going for Musha King. Actually, Musha King and Alden are probably going to be my two go-tos. Alden is just so unsolved. I'm actually curious like why it's this unsolved. Obviously, a lot of it has to do with the fact that Youthberg and My Go are out this set for GP, so they're just too focused on Youthberg and My Go, which are Jeweled and Leonord and Java, because those decks are just insanely potent. But I'm actually personally curious to see what Alden even does, so I'll probably be messing on with that. But yeah, other guys, peace out. That's been that. See you guys in a future video. Bye.